Hello there everybody, it's me Alexa. Welcome back to the new channel. Today we're going to be talking about 2020. So, 2020 was like a crazy year, wasn't it? You have the pre-COVID stuff, which feels like it was years ago. We had the Orange Man almost start in World War III. We had the forest fires all over the place. Just a whole bunch of stuff happening. And then the virus hit. I was already starting out like, oh, this year is pretty rough. Hopefully it'll get better. And then Corona came in and was like, haha. Nope. While there was a lot of negativity, and I'm starting off on a negative note, I hear myself, I am going to be mostly focusing on the positive things that happened during 2020 because there is so much negative that we can focus on, but it's important to always make sure to be aware and recognize the positive things going on in life too, or else you'll just be too negative, and being too negative sucks. I feel like post-quarantine, all those months is just like a big blur of time, because like my day-to-day didn't really change much. It was just like wake up, record some videos, edit some videos, work on stuff, you know. My life was very mundane and very every day just kind of bleeding into the next. But there are some moments that we get to highlight, you know. We got to look back and be aware of all the positive things that happened during the year so that we can try and move forward with a more positive outlook. The only good thing for me about quarantine was, of course, I did get to focus more on GW&CO than I would have been able to if it were not for quarantine. Through this, the channel, everything grew so much last year. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, to start off with, of course, our biggest channel is GW International. That, surprisingly, I didn't realize how much it actually grew throughout the year until I was looking at how many subscribers it had at the beginning of 2020, like at the end of 2019. And it actually only had 7,900 subscribers only. That's still a huge number. And now at the end of 2020, it went up 39,800 subscribers in just 1 year, reaching 47,700. Absolutely insane. In 2020 on GW International, I posted a total of 306 videos, and that is not including any that I blocked and deleted. That brought us to a total of 356 videos at the end of 2020. That does mean that I missed roughly 50 days. Though I'm gonna give myself some leeway with blocked videos, so I probably missed like 40 days. I'll give myself a 10 video leeway. So not too great. Maybe I'll miss less days this year, hopefully. That's the goal. So then, of course, our gameplay channel. So beginning of 2020, we had one, and it was called GW Gameplay, and it featured videos of both Sri and myself playing games. But about like halfway into the year, maybe like 3/4, I don't know, everything's a blur. One point in the year, we decided to split it up into two channels. So I turned that one into Alexa Plays, and then we created a new channel for Sri called Sri Kindula. And both of us now upload our gameplays to those channels, and Sri has some plans making some other kinds of videos on his as well. On the GW Gameplay, then Alexa Plays channel, we had a lot of growth in 2020. It gained 191 subscribers to reach 216 total subscribers. So that is like incredible growth going from start of the year to end of the year. And then also with Sri's new channel, which he just started back in October, and he has just 30 videos on there, but he's already gained 77 subs by the end of December, which is absolutely crazy. And then of course on our gameplay channels, a lot of the videos are archives from our Twitch, which also had a lot of growth in 2020. We started the year with roughly 15 followers, and by the end of the year we had 37. So we over doubled our number of subscribers in 2020. And then on our website, GW&CO.com, we really buckled down and actually wrote 109 articles over the course of 2020, bringing our total up to 118. So we're excited to hopefully write even more articles this year in 2021. I mean, the growth across everything GW&CO last year, as I said already, and I'm gonna probably say again, was absolutely incredible. Thank you guys just so much for the amazing support. I cannot wait to see everything else that comes. It's absolutely incredible. So besides GW&CO, with quarantine, I was also able to watch a lot of movies, play a lot of games, and to read a few books. So let's talk about some of my favorites. So in 2020, according to my Letterboxd, I watched a total of 235 movies, which is crazy. It was cool. I just got my little like Letterboxd and review. It doesn't go into too much detail like Spotify or anything, but it tells you your most watched actor and your most watched director. And so for director, I got Peter Jackson because I watched all 6 of the Lord of the Rings / Hobbit films. And then my most watched actor according to Letterboxd, and this one definitely makes sense. I watch a lot of like Telugu Mas films, and so if you watch a lot of Telugu Mas films, you can probably guess who this person is. Ramanandam. He was my most watched actor. I believe by far. It didn't give me a number of how many films that I watched with him in it, but it was a lot. So I already talked about my favorite movies from 2020 in my Alexa Talks from December over on the GW International channel. But here I'm just gonna kind of talk about the top 3 movies. They are the first ones that kind of come to mind whenever I think about the films of 2020. And that has to be, of course, Ala Vaikuntha Paramalu, Tenet, and Soul. So these are very different films. I mean, you have Ala Vaikuntha Paramalu, which is just fun all the way, great songs, Alu Arjun's wonderful. It's just a really enjoyable movie. And then Tenet is, of course, much more serious, a little more confusing, and it's a very different style of film than Ala Vaikuntha Paramalu. And then, of course, Soul is an animated, technically kids film, but I don't think they're kids films. They're for everyone. So those are probably the top 3, just like first movies that come to mind, the ones that I think about the most often since I watched them. Just absolutely great films. I watched a lot of good ones. Obviously, I have 235 films watched, a lot of bad ones too. Only one I hated though. I also played quite a few games. I've always enjoyed playing games, but I never like was a gamer really, I wouldn't say. But I think that I've officially started to become one in the past like couple months. The amount that I've turned on my Xbox has significantly gone up since the beginning of quarantine. So I'm not sure the exact number of games that I played. It was quite a few. I have a bunch of gameplays over on my Alexa Plays channel, so at least that many. So of the games that I played though, I want to again talk about my 3 favorite ones. So this one I'm also gonna have an honorable mention. I'll start with that, I guess. What Remains of Edith Finch. I thought that game was so cool. It was the first game that I'd ever played with that style of like the first person adventure exploring storytelling, and I really, really loved it. I have a full gameplay. All the ones I'm gonna mention here, I have gameplays up over on the channel, so you can go check those out if you have any interest. I'll have a link to the channel in the description, and there's playlists for every game on the playlist tab there. But yeah, I thought that game, the story was beautiful, and I liked it a lot. Another game that I really liked that I played last year was The Tourist. It was such a cute, fun game. It wasn't anything too serious. You could just kind of sit there. I played it all in one day, actually. And I never got bored. I never wanted to stop. I mean, it was just so enjoyable. But I think the game was just so much fun. I would definitely recommend. If you like platformers or puzzlers, then this is definitely a game that you should check out. Another game that I played a lot of, I'm not technically done with it yet. I technically finished the first half of it just last week. But I have played the first 3 years and the first like 45 minutes a year for last year. So I'm gonna talk about it for last year's Lego Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, as y'all know, if you've like followed me anywhere. I love Harry Potter. And Lego games I think are so much fun. I've always enjoyed playing them. And I mean, one of the first earlier games I played this year was Lego The Hobbit on my Nintendo 2DS. And it was so much fun. And then playing Lego Harry Potter for the channel, I've enjoyed it so much. And I hadn't ever played past, I think, like year 2 before, or like part of year 3. I think I'd started once, like way long ago. And so I was so excited to finish the year 3 and also play year 4, which I'd never played or watched anyone play in Lego Harry Potter. And then same with, I'm gonna be playing 5 through 7 this year. And so I'm sure this will probably make next year's list too. But I absolutely just love Lego Harry Potter. It's so much fun. And it takes these stories that I love so much and make them into the Lego universe where, you know, it's a bit sillier. And it's done so well that it constantly makes me laugh and smile, and I have so much fun playing it. And then my favorite game of the year, I'm not gonna talk about this one too much because I feel like I've talked about it in a lot of things. But it was Call of the Sea. I really love this game. I have a full review over on the website, so I'll kind of leave it at that, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's another like first-person adventure game, and it's gorgeous. So as I talked about in my New Year's resolution video, I also read 11 books last year, but I didn't really talk about what I read, so we're gonna do that here. So I read all 7 of the Harry Potter books, which was super great. I love those books. I've been reading them my whole life. I've read them, I don't know how many times I've read them through, but this was actually my first time rereading them for a few years. I always love going back to the Harry Potter books. They're kind of like comfort food, you know? You just pick one up and just delve into the world, and it's so wonderful. So I won't be talking about the Harry Potter books and my favorites, because obviously they're all my favorite. Maybe I'll do a video like that in the future where I like talk about each of the Harry Potter books, which one's my favorite and such. That could be cool. Let me know if you want to see that. But for now, I'm going to talk about the other 4 books that I read, and I'm going to list them quickly in order from least favorite to most favorite, which, to be very clear though, I liked all of these books. None of these is a negative. It's just each one is better than the other one in my personal opinion for the kinds of books that I like, but they were all great books that I would definitely recommend. So the first one I'm talking about is the one that I just finished in December, is the last book I read. It's called Mage Errant, Book 1, Into the Labyrinth by John Bierce. I don't really know much about him. I kind of came across the videos in like a thing of, if you like Harry Potter books, here's some other books you should check out. And they recommended it, so that's why I read it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the series so far. Next one I'm talking about is Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Girl on the Train is a very like dark mystery. It kind of is been compared to like Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And it's just really that style. I think that they definitely have a lot of similarity in style, very different stories that they're being told, but the darkness and the mystery aspect and how they build suspense are very reminiscent of each other. So if you like mysteries or like darker tales, then that's a book for you. And then for the first time in my life, I read The Hobbit. I watched the Lord of the Rings films many years ago and really loved them, rewatched all of them this past year because I also read The Hobbit, and it's such a fun, cute book. I mean, if you love fantasy, you gotta read it. Everyone probably already told you that. I do want to read the other 3 books, like The Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. Hopefully I'll read those other books semi-soon. Probably, maybe not this year, but like within the next few years. And then my favorite book that I read last year was Pet Sematary by Stephen King. So I have not really read a Stephen King novel before because he mostly writes horrors, and I don't like horrors. But for my birthday, actually, Sri bought me a Pet Sematary, and so I was like, okay, fine, I'll read it. And it turned out to be a really great book. It is a little spooky, but it's more so an emotional story, I would say, than it is just like downright horror. So I found it a lot more bearable in the scary aspect of it, because I was able to like just kind of connect with the characters and such and not focus as much on the kind of scary stuff happening around it. The scary stuff was also done really well, where I definitely had some chills at some points, especially as we got closer to the end, you know. It was very, very creepy. So yeah, that's kind of all the main books and games and movies and such. Now I just want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite moments from 2020. Because while, of course, the second like 3/4 is quite a bit of a blur of everything just merging together, there still are a few good little bright spots you gotta focus on. And that's what I want from you guys too. Make sure to down below in the comments leave your favorite moments or memory or thing that happened or whatever, favorite something about 2020. Let's create just like a positivity pool down below in the comments full of everyone's most happy and just positive moments of 2020. I would love to have that happen. So make sure to do that in the comments down below. So some of my personal highlights, the biggest one was actually had to do with The Virtues of Solitude, our short film that we just posted on October 31st on our channel, Eerie Night Productions. And as I did a reaction for, where I talked a bit about behind the scenes over on GW International. The one thing you guys may not know is it actually did get into a couple festivals before he posted it. 2 of them were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which isn't too far from me, so I was actually able to drive and watch it one of those times on the big screen. It was a little weird seeing myself. It was the Philadelphia Film Showcase that it was in. It was cool to see something that I was a part of making on the big screen, but it was like seeing myself on the big screen was like a little weird, I don't know. And then it was cool because afterwards we got to like answer a bit of a Q&A, so like a few people had questions about like the story and such, and it was just a really fun experience that I really enjoyed. And then another festival they got into, the Rough Cut Film Festival, I wasn't able to go watch it whenever it played there, but I was able to go to the award ceremony for it. And then one of the cool things, actually, after it did play though, the creator of the film festival emailed Sri and told him about how one person had watched the film and then came up to him and said, wow, that film makes me want to go and make a film. And I mean, there's just really no better compliment that I feel I could ever get as a filmmaker than hearing someone say that a film I was a part of making helped inspire them to make a film. Like, that is just, I mean, that's just so incredible. I cannot say enough how just truly spectacular that moment was, hearing that. Like, Sri sent me the email so I could see it, and it was just wonderful. Like, I mean, I could not ask for a better compliment. Like, at that point, it's like, I don't care if no one else in the world likes this film. It helped inspire one person, and that is, I mean, all that anyone can hope for whenever they're making a film. So those two moments were kind of like my biggest highlights, like seeing myself in theaters and also having the person say that about a film I was a part of. Those are like my two biggest great moments in 2020, I'd say. But also anytime I did get to see my friends was awesome, and I'm so happy with technology that I'm able to like still talk to them, and you can do like video chats and stuff like that, so it's not like as disconnected as it could have been. Like, imagine if this happened before cell phones. That would be so sad. It would be so lonely because you wouldn't even be able to talk to people from the outside world, and I probably wouldn't even be able to make these videos and stuff, which was a great outlet for me during this time, and being able to talk to everyone and have the amazing support from the channel. You know, that really helped me get through quarantine, definitely. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have been doing. So finally, really quickly, I'm not gonna go into too much because there's a whole bunch of things you can look up. I recommend Googling positive things that happened in 2020 because I did that before making this video, and it was really nice. There's a whole bunch of videos or articles with lists of just positive things that happened, and it's really nice to read, and I would recommend doing that because there's so much positivity that happened. And you don't often hear all about that because you hear about all the negative things. But yeah, two of the most positive things in my book was here in the US, we voted the Orange Man out, so I'm very excited about that. And he's almost gone. I'm so excited. I don't know how much I can say that, but I'm so excited for him to be gone. Okay. Also, though, of course, there is with the vaccine for coronavirus, so many companies and countries work together to help create these vaccines as fast as possible while also making them as effective and, you know, limited side effects as possible. So quickly that now we're already administering them to people, and it's starting to already save lives, and that's such a beautiful, wonderful thing that people were able to come together, work together to fight against this horrible thing that was happening and create some spots of hope and brightness for the future. And I think that that is something that definitely needs to be praised as much as it is, and even more, because it's absolutely wonderful. I think 2021 is going to be a good year as everyone continues to hopefully come together a bit more and work towards just making the world a better place. So yeah, there's some little bright spots of positivity about 2020. While it maybe wasn't the best year ever, I think there is always room to look for and find the positives. So make sure to do that in your comments down below. I'm excited to hear all of your guys' thoughts and best moments from 2020. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, and we're gonna have a new video every Wednesday, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see whenever the next one goes up. All right, thank you all. Hope you all are staying safe out there and have an absolutely amazing week. Bye!